Now, to cancel registrations, we're expecting a delete request on /events/id register. So again, targeting a specific event, and then again, the user ID will be part of the token. And we only need the ID of the user and the ID of the event to successfully cancel a registration, because these two pieces of information will be stored in the database. Therefore, I'll start here in my register.go file in the routes folder. And I will start by adding or by working on that other function here, that cancel registration function. And I will actually start by registering this as a request handler here on that delete route so that I don't forget it again. So cancel registration should become active if a delete request reaches this path. Now, inside of cancel registration, we again need the event ID and the user ID. So I'll copy that and paste it in here. Now we could then, again, try to get that event by that ID, but I actually don't care about that. Instead, I only care about the fact whether I find this user ID, event ID combination in my registrations table. Therefore, all I need to do here is add a new method, let's say on that event model, which I call cancel registration. Now it should be a method, so we have that receiver here. And I again expect to get the user ID, which is of type int64, as a parameter here. And inside of this cancel registration method, we now can set up a new SQL query, a delete command to be precise, where I want to delete from the registrations database. And I want to delete the entry where the event ID is equal to some value and the user ID is equal to some value. So I'm looking for a row where we have a specific event ID, user ID combination. Now again, we can prepare that. So we can basically copy all this code from up here, including this last line, and paste that down here. And with that, we just have to add this error return type here. That's all. That should then be everything we need to do in order to delete a registration from that table. So back in register.go, we can now use this newly added method. Now, since it's a method that belongs to the event struct, I need to create such a new event struct here, which I can simply do by creating such a variable. And this will then by default have an empty event struct as a value. And I can simply use that empty struct now to set the ID equal to event ID. Now all the other fields will not be populated, and they don't need to, because I won't do anything else with that event besides calling cancel registration, which only needs the event ID internally. So then here we can pass the user ID to cancel registration, and then we might get back an error, which I of course want to handle. So I'll copy this error handling code from before, from the registration function, and then here if canceling fails, I'll say could not cancel registration, and otherwise thereafter I'll say cancelled. And that should be it. With that, we can restart the server. And now I will go to my API test folder again and add a cancel registration.http file in there. And here it's now a delete request to http localhost 8080/events, then the ID of the event for which we want to cancel a registration. And that simply is the same ID I used here for registering, so 1. And I'll also need to use that token, so we can copy that as well. So in cancel registration, it's the event with ID 1, and then again /register, but now a delete request. That's the important part. And then we have that authorization header that contains the token. Now if I click send request, I get back cancelled here as a result. The status code actually makes no sense. It's not a problem, but it makes no sense. Instead, in register.go, in cancel registration, I'd rather set the status OK code here, the normal 200 code. But that's just a minor thing. The important thing is that we were able to successfully cancel a registration.